But look, let's move on because to the High Court decision now which led to the release of 84 criminals, including murderers and paedophiles. Now, we're going to discuss with the panel how the media covered that news more broadly, but I also wanted to highlight these comments from The Guardian's senior political reporter, Amy Remeikis. Now, Amy took to Twitter to say she agreed with the decision to pour paedophiles and murderers into our streets. She argues every single day Australians who have committed crimes, including the worst crimes you can imagine, are released having served their sentence. They are subject to conditions, but they resume their lives in their communities. Advocating to lock people up forever because they are a migrant or a refugee and whipping up fear in the community that women and children are under threat is among some of the worst politics you could imagine. Now, Amy is supposed to be a reporter, but she's acting more like a politician or an activist here. She also gets several things critically wrong. There is a difference between Australians who commit crimes and those who are not citizens committing crimes. These people are not locked up because fundamentally they are migrants or refugees. They are locked up because they committed horrific crimes. Why would we want these people in our country? And why do these radical lefty journalists always seem to have the worst possible take on issues? Now, let's go to stories of the week quickly. Caroline, what have you got for us?
Well, the CEO of Optus was in, or is in Senate estimates today. The Australian published a story just this morning, actually, that when Optus went down last week, she basically avoided doing any media until the idea of it being a hack was disproven. And so this is where I do actually have to give props to the communications minister last week. Roland was out dealing with it early on, and the CEO popped up on local ABC radio to, comment, but without really having any information. Then there has just been this absolute vacuum as far as media engagement has gone from Optus. You would have thought that they would have learnt their lesson from the debacle last year of the hack, but apparently they haven't.
I mean, this Optus CEO clearly needs to go. She was cracking jokes in the Senate inquiry like it was no big deal. She had no idea that her own network was down when she woke up and had to drive on in, her testimony this morning said. The whole thing's nuts. Michelle, what's your story of the week?
Mine's a beautiful one. It's a Labor councillor for the Bondi ward. Her name's Michelle Gray. She had to step down from a position on a Jewish school board. Now, the reason why she had to step down from this is because they found that she had an X account, a Twitter account, under a pseudonym, and she was a Hamas apologist. And now, if for those who don't know, Bondi particularly is primarily a Jewish population. Wow. So, she's not only is she not representing her constituents, she's also sits on a Jewish school board and is promoting stuff on Twitter under a pseudonym and shouting into the echo as a Hamas apologist. There are no words for what is going on here.
It is terrifying how many of these people are out there, yes, hiding in the darkness.
Yes, and also, recently Waverley Council also had to get a Greens deputy mayor to step down because he also was refusing to call out Hamas atrocities. So I think what we need to do is see a lot of these councillors representing their constituents a bit more.
Well said. Michelle, Caroline, thank you so much for joining me.